Hey guys, it's me Delta1, and I've got a couple videos that I'm making, so go click the next one when the link is posted wherever saying next video. But this is a video about what I'm going to do to my saw and some updates that A&K has made to their saws from their previous generation. So I got the full stock MK2 saw. I've owned one of these before and sold it, my personal model, and I'm going to tell you this, it was the biggest mistake I've ever made in my entire airsoft career / history. Um, and my teammates can vouch for it, especially Mikey CQC. He basically ran with me, and the saw was one of the most dependable airsoft guns I've ever owned, and I sold it, and I regretted every decision. Now, one of the updates that I'm going to tell you about it that A&K has made, and these are updates as in due to their molds and actual like building quality. Maybe not so much as the molds. I'm guessing they redid some of the molds because of the quality improvements, such as the actual composite materials they've used on their stocks have improved. It feels more like a real classic Army stock, which is what this is cloned off of. It's got a nice, kind of like, when you look at a matte black finish, it's kind of got that texture, and there are still seams on it, but to be honest, I'm not going to pay another $200 for a saw so I could buy a classic Army. I'm just going to buy an A&K. They redid that, and it's a lot nicer. And the paint and the actual like material, it's a tad bit lighter, and it feels a lot better. And even the front hand guards, it's really nice. But internal-wise, I don't know if they've made any big improvements. I mean, this saw has not even been fired yet, so I don't know internally yet. I'll let you know, and I'm going to get to the internal part now. As y'all know, my guns are crazy. My RPK Samantha is shooting like 1,390 rounds a minute, 440 FPS, not short-stroked at all, and that's on a 7.4 LiPo. And I'm getting like that high of an RPM at 440. So I like my support guns with a fast rate of fire, but I am purchasing another saw, and it will be a shorter barrel because I have a saw and a shield set up just for fun. So let's get to the internals. The gears in here are made by SHS. The stock gears that come in the newer A&K saws should be made by SHS. I've been told by some of the manufacturers and wholesalers that I work with that they basically make for them. So I'll be able to tell you and show you later on. The way SHS gears are made is they're kind of like clamped together, and if your A&K gears are like that, it's more than likely made by SHS. So that's really a good thing, because then you don't really need to replace it, because standard ratio gears are just perfectly fine. The stock A&K motor, which is just meh. It doesn't meet anything near my requirements. I don't like it. A&K's pistons. The one I had, my older one, which was a 2007 saw, lasted me forever and didn't have any problems. And I was running 1,800 rounds a minute. Not 1,800, like 1,000. And 1,000 to 800, which is just decent, and it ran forever. Mikey CQC can vouch for me on that. They're just built reliably, so basically what I'm going to end up doing, if I'm going to make this a high-speed saw, looking to get 35 rounds a second, I'm going to probably use an SHS or an element motor. I have element motors on hand, which are my personal motors. I'm not selling them, because for whatever reason, element motors are impossible to get a hold of right now. To my knowledge, I haven't been looking, because last time I went looking, I couldn't find any. So either that or an SHS. Leave that fine. The spring guide is probably fine. As long as it's got bearings, should be fine. The piston, I'm going to experiment with the piston it's got in it and do some kind of mods. Not really short stroking, but I guess I'll take my first attempts at doing some. I don't really like polycarb pistons, but I'm going to keep with it and try and make it last as long as possible. I'm getting rid of the piston head and the cylinder head. Or not really the cylinder head. I'm just going to put a sorbane buffer on it. So we're probably going to get another polycarb, probably. Don't know which one yet. If I could find an Area 1000 Sistema, it's probably what I'm going to do. Get a different air nozzle, probably, because the Chinese ones suck. They have no air seal. And they just don't keep compression. I'm probably going to do some Teflon mod just to keep the higher FPS so I can have a lower spring to keep, more rounds downrange. Probably what am I going to do after that? I'm going to put in a custom MOSFET made by Disguised Enemy. I'll just call him that. He's a really good technician. I'm going to buy one of his MOSFETs. It just bypasses the trigger switch, which is also known is a very common problem in the saws when you just let off the trigger and it still fires. This MOSFET just basically bypasses it and basically prevents it from burning out, and the MOSFET takes one for the team. But I'm going to rewire it to 16 gauge wiring, Deans, the whole 9 yards. What I'd like to try and do also is get a rail on top right here and get an actual M249 scope. Barrel wise, if I feel like I want a spring for it, I'll get a Prometheus 509. If I can't, I'm going to stick with a JBU. My best tech buddy that I know said Mad Bulls are getting better and they're usable now. In the past, Mad Bull has not met my requirements, especially for what you're paying. I know it's a lower end barrel, but I've heard that the coating inside just wears out after 5,000 rounds, which is only 2 box mags, which is just ridiculous. So people are probably going to comment, and you're probably going to tell me you've had better experiences. I've heard so many mixed opinions. I've heard people that have had nothing but good luck, and I've heard people that have just said after they install in their gun and fired a couple of 100 rounds, they just took it out and bent it. So I'm probably going to do that, but one of the cons to the saw is you don't really get a hop-up nub, you just get something that pushes down on the bucking. I'll have a Sistema because Mad Bull buckings wear out too fast. I've heard people doing custom mods which make them work real cool. More power to you. You can't put a standard like Polar Star SHS nub or whatever they're called. I have like 60 of them. I'm selling them if you're interested. I'm going to put that in there, and probably my old saw was hitting 300 plus feet stock out of the box with stock barrel and bucking and 400 FPS. Don't know why. It just was. So I'm hoping to get 300 feet at least. I'm probably going to be aiming for 450 FPS, but that's what I'm going to do to my saw. Now the next thing that I'm going to talk about is you're probably asking me, well, what about your box mag? Because saw box mags totally blow, and they do. And every person I know that runs a saw the right way, or not the right way, but more or less to say with high rate of fires, they run them with custom box mags. I've heard people go as far as getting custom electric airplane motors and putting in a different motor. I've heard people just make their own. But I'm going to try and run it the cheaper route, and what I'm going to do is there's a lot of room in there to fit stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to Dremel out the actual battery housing for the two AA or AAA batteries that they use, which is nowhere near enough power to get it going fast. Pretty much if anything over 1,000, it'll just start misfeeding. And they do jam, so I'm going to have to figure a way around that, but I'm not worried about it. I'm going to shove one of these in there, which is a 7.4 2,200 milliamp. Will fit with no problem. I'm going to shove this in there and rewire the battery contacts to Deans and see how that works out. People are probably face palming really hard right now that work with a lot of electronics and know that that gauge of wiring won't work. If I have to, I will go as far as to rewire the whole mag. But saw box mags are crap. If you've had feeding problems, you know. If you haven't, you are extremely lucky. I don't know if the new saw box mags are any good because I sold mine because someone offered me like $60, and I was like, I'm not selling it. They're like $60, and I was like, it's yours, so I sold it. Now that's what I'm gonna be doing to my saw. So let me know if any of you techs have any suggestions. I know there is some tech people that watch my videos, and I appreciate it that you think I'm of that caliber to be watched as a technician. It means a lot. I just try and have fun, and I try and make my stuff crazy. So guys, that's pretty much it, and thanks for watching. And bye us.